The Amityville Horror, New York, 1974. The house is awake. George Lutz sits up in bed at 3:15 a.m. His heart is loud in his ears. The room is ice cold, but sweat runs down his back. He hears slow steps on the stairs. 1, 2, 3. They reach the basement door. The knob turns by itself, slow, as if learning how to be a hand. The door cracks open. A deeper darkness waits there. The flashlight buzzes and dims like it's scared. From the bottom of the stairs, a small voice starts to count. 6. Another voice answers. 7. Then more voices join, soft, near, and far. 8. 9. All at once, as if the house is taking roll. Kathy pulls the children close. George lifts the flashlight and steps down. 1 step, 2, 3. The counting stops. Everything holds its breath. Then, inside that black, 2 green eyes open and look straight into him. The house inhales. The floor shudders. And from the walls, the pipes, and the spaces between the boards, a voice that is not a voice says one more time, right by his ear, hold that moment like a snowball in your hand. We will come back to it. We have to. But first, you need to know why those eyes were waiting in that house at all, and how a quiet bay town in New York found itself inside a story people still argue about today. Before the Lutz family ever saw the place, another family lived at Danhondonte. One night in 1974, the town woke to sirens and news too heavy to carry with words. That family was gone. It is kind to leave the details on the shelf. The town stood very still. People knelt in church. The house with the eye windows watched the street and said nothing. It waited. Months later, a U-Haul truck rolled up. George and Kathy Lutz stepped out with their 3 kids and their shaggy dog Harry. They were excited and tired and trying their best, the way new families do. The house was beautiful and the price was low. Neighbors warned them that some houses keep echoes. George said they would fill the rooms with new laughter. Kathy believed him. A priest in a dark coat came to bless the home. He carried a small bottle of holy water and a book full of quiet this night. George woke at 3:15 a.m., the same time, the same way, eyes snapping wide, chest tight, mind full of dark water. He walked the hall with bare feet and a blanket over his shoulders and listened to the house creak and crack like old knees. Sometimes he heard a whisper that could have been wind. It was not wind. The whisper said his name the way a cold hand says hello. Kathy dreamed she was walking through the house, room by room, and the rooms were beds with people lying still in them. She woke with tears on her face and fingerprints on her wrist even though no one had touched her. Missy met a friend. "Her name is Jody," she said, and pointed at the corner where no one stood. "She is a big pig with bright eyes. She can sit in my rocking chair." They invited the priest again. He said he would pray from where he was. When he started, the line filled with a buzzing swarm. Over the noise, very plain, came a whisper that belonged to no one in either room. "Get out!" The call clicked dead. The phone stayed dead for an hour. The phone company said all lines were fine. The next night slipped into the one you saw at the start. At 3:15, the house breathed in. The steps climbed the stairs. The slime glowed and dripped. The counting began in the basement. 6, 7. And the board over the small square rattled like teeth chattering in a skull. George stood at the top of the basement stairs with the flashlight, Kathy and the kids behind him. He smelled the sweet rotten stink and felt it cover his tongue. He lifted the beam and saw the nails in the board wiggle free one by one and hop to the concrete with tiny bright pings, like silver crickets. The board swelled and popped off. Behind it was a black, thicker than night, the kind of black you can taste. Something rolled inside that dark, slow and heavy, as if it had curled there a long, long time and was finally ready to turn over. The house took another long breath. The basement door. They ran for the kitchen. The back door stuck as if glued. George threw his weight against it, and it tore free with a stringy peel, as if the wood itself did not want to let go. Cold air rushed their lungs clean for a heartbeat. Then the stink followed, thick and strong. They reached the van. The keys slipped. The engine coughed and went dead, then clicked like teeth. A big handprint bloomed on the inside of the fogged windshield, wide and flat, as if pressed there by nothing the eye could see. The glass bowed inward without breaking, and sang a thin glass song that set everyone's teeth on edge. George looked at the house. The 2 half-moon windows felt like eyes with pupils. The open front door was a mouth that wanted more air. "Walk," he said. "Now. We go to the neighbor. Don't look back." They ran to the street. Christmas lights 2 houses down blinked red and green like tiny brave hearts. A neighbor, Mr. Green, opened his door and yelled, "You okay?" Before George could answer, the Lutz house lit up inside with a color no light should be. Deep green, the color of the slime, the color of pond water when it turns bad. The glow filled the windows. The hum grew to a roar. Wind blew from the front door straight toward... That's when the house answered. From the top of the stairs came Kathy's voice. "George?" He froze. The real Kathy was beside him zipping a bag. She gripped his sleeve. Her face went white. "George, please!" The upstairs Kathy called again, kind and warm and exactly right. "Come help me." Missy squeezed her eyes shut. "Jody says don't answer." The priest opened his book and lifted his hand. The voice at the top of the stairs changed. "We were here first," it said. Low, flat, not like any person's voice at all. The half-moon windows flared green. 12. The word is still in the air when every bulb in the house flares bright green. The staircase bends like a bow. The basement thumps again from below, harder, like a giant fist knocking from the dark. The front door slams and locks with a click you can feel in your teeth. "Stand back," the priest says. His voice is calm, but he takes 3 steps up the porch. The house breathes in. The green behind the windows brightens like a thing waking up. The soft-voiced man starts to say something, and then stops, because saying don't will not help. The priest lifts his hand, but does not try to grab George. He knows better than to stand between a father and a child. George crosses the threshold. The air changes like walking into a mouth. Wet, warm, cold at the same time. The smell of sweet rot fills his nose. He scoops he hits the bottom step and pivots hard to the right toward the bulkhead doors. The little square in the far wall is open. It is not a square, it is a hole that looks bigger than it should be. The green eyes inside it open and narrow like a smile. The smell doubles. He coughs and covers his mouth with his sleeve. "Get," the breath voice says from the hole. "I'm going," he says, because he is past fear now and into something flat and still. They do not go far at first. They go to a hotel. The lobby smells like lemons and soap. The carpet is ugly on purpose. The lady at the desk gives them a room key and a kind look without asking why George is carrying a doll and why everyone's faces are grey with a night that seems too big for the day that holds it. They sleep for 2 hours in clothes on top of the sheets. When they wake, the room is warm. The air smells boring. No music box plays by itself. No counting climbs the walls. The only hum is from a soda machine in the hall, and even that sound feels helpful. That afternoon, they drink hot chocolate in... As he locks the door and steps onto the porch, the wind shifts and a tiny memory of sweet rot passes by, like a smell stuck in the wood from long ago. He breathes out. He gets in the truck. He drives away. They do not go back. In time, the house gets a new number and a new paint color. New people move in. Some hear nothing. Some hear something and do not say. The story grows and changes with every telling. Possession, hoax, trauma, a house that remembers, a family that broke, a town that watched. Believers nod. Skeptics shake their heads. The water in the canal keeps its small slap against the pilings. The flags still click on their poles. And sometimes, on very cold mornings, a person walking a dog past the old place will pause, without knowing why, and listen. They will not hear anything at first. Then the dog will tug the leash once, sharply, toward the boathouse, and the person will say, "No, no," and keep walking, a little faster. They will tell themselves it is because their hands are cold. At the hotel, long after that last move, Missy wakes once, at 3